This is my Eastman E8D-TC acoustic guitar. I bought it secondhand, and the previous owner installed a pickup in it, which is an LR Baggs Anthem SL. I've always struggled to get a good plugged-in sound with an acoustic guitar. Typically like using more inexpensive undersaddle pickups. The LR Baggs Anthem SL is one of the first pickups that I've used that actually sounds really good in my opinion. So what I want to do is walk through some sound samples of the pickup compared to the room mic to see how direct sound compares to a mic sound of just the acoustic guitar. But before we do that, I wanted to walk through some of the pros and cons of the pickup itself. As for the good, it sounds good in my opinion. It's a great pickup. And secondly, I love how you can adjust the volume right here easily. You don't have to drill holes in the rest of the guitar. Some pickups you'll have volume controls here or wherever else. And that's about where the pros end. As for the cons, obviously I love how you have access in the sound hole here. But when playing live, sometimes in a loud bar with a loud monitor pointing up at me, I get feedback. That said, I've never had that issue with this specific pickup. But if I did, I wouldn't be able to use any device like a feedback buster, like those rubber inserts that go in the sound hole. Probably not an issue, like I said, because I've never had feedback issues with this pickup, but still, it's not really an option. The second con with this pickup is how you have to adjust it. With the fully blown Anthem pickup, there's two knobs. There's one for volume. I believe there's one for tone, which is like kind of the blend between the microphone and the undersaddle pickup. With the SL, you have to use a screwdriver to adjust it. Not the end of the world. But it would be nice to be able to do it on the fly with a knob. And that's why they make an Anthem and an Anthem SL. And that's why the Anthem SL is quite a bit cheaper. Let's run through some sound samples. I'll switch between the Anthem direct into the board and then my room mic, which is a Zoom H6 with the XY 90 degree. I chose to use the Zoom for this because I think it sounds like the best representation of how I hear the acoustic guitar in the room. I could use like a large diaphragm condenser, but at the same time, I feel like that's good for studio or if something's going to be put in the mix. But for just an acoustic guitar and you want to get a feel for how it sounds, I don't think you can beat a room mic like this. So that's my chain. Plug direct into the board. I won't use EQ, compression, reverb, anything like that. You'll hear it as it is. Okay, so I've given some sound samples, and I've realized that I should do some actually using that adjustment with the screwdriver. I'm just going to do simple chords, so don't critique my playing, but what I'm going to do is drive the screw all the way to the left, so counterclockwise, and I'll just go a little bit at a time. And what I did is I marked my screwdriver. I don't know if you can see that. I marked my screwdriver with little dots, so that way I know where I am as far as where the adjustment is. I'm going to drive it all the way to the left to start. Let's see if we can, optimize the sound of the pickup. According to my marks, this sound should be the darkest, and then as I turn it clockwise, it should get brighter and brighter and brighter, because as we turn it clockwise, that essentially turns on the microphone inside the guitar. So let's see if that's true. This is about halfway up. Okay, here's microphone all the way up. So I'm listening back at the recordings, and as I was recording it, I wasn't wearing headphones or anything, so I couldn't actually hear how it sounded plugged in. I think exactly what I predicted is true. The first sound sample is really dark. As you would expect, it's just the undersaddle pickup, no microphone. And then the second one is about halfway, and then with the mic all the way on, it's pretty bright. I'll let you decide what one you like the best. I feel like the more microphone, the better, because you get more of that actual acoustic sound. The only downside is if you're playing live or something like that, more microphone equals more potential for feedback. Just keep that in mind and make sure to try it out. Try it at home, crank up your speakers, see if you get that feedback. If you don't, great, but you never know. One other thing I've noticed is in my audio files, got big waveforms when I'm playing guitar, but that internal mic picks up a lot of noise. And I don't mean like, 60 cycle hum or anything like that. I mean, when I'm talking to the camera, not playing guitar, the pickup picks it up, which makes sense. It's a microphone. But that's something to keep in mind too, as another potential form of feedback. If you're playing and singing, that vocal signal will get picked up by your guitar. Whether or not that is a bad thing, I don't know. That's for you to decide, not me. All I know is that I've used this guitar live many, many times, and it's worked great. So I have no complaints. I think it sounds fantastic. So let me know what you think. Let me know if it sounds good to you. Would you use it in the studio as a replacement for a microphone? Would you, plug straight into the board and record a song? Would it sound good enough in a mix? I think it actually might. But nonetheless, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to see anything more specific with this pickup or this guitar. Until next time.